Okay, we're about to dive into one of the most devastating, yet somehow lesser-known disasters in Soviet history. It's a story of human error, incredible power, and a tragedy that just unfolded in the dead of night. So picture this. It's a summer night in 1989. Two passenger trains, absolutely packed with families heading off on holiday, are speeding toward each other. But this wasn't going to be a collision of steel on steel. Oh no, this was an encounter with an invisible sea of fire. To really understand the scale of what happened, you first have to understand who was on board these trains. I mean, these weren't just commuter trains. They were symbols of summer, of hope, of vacation. Yeah, they were called resort trains, which tells you everything. They were packed with people heading south to the Black Sea coast for their summer break. You can just imagine the mood on board, right? Pure excitement and fun. Now get this, in total, you had 1,284 passengers and 86 crew members on those two trains. That's basically a small city on wheels, rolling through the Ural Mountains in the middle of the night. And here's the part that just guts you. Of all those passengers, 383 of them were children. So many of them were on their way to summer camps, you know? The whole rest of their lives waiting for them. But completely unknown to anyone on those trains, this invisible threat was silently gathering in a valley right on their route. And it was a danger that had been years in the making. You know, a disaster like this is never just one single event. It's a chain reaction, a whole series of failures. And this one started with a damaged pipe, then weeks of a silent, growing leak, and finally some absolutely critical mistakes in the hours right before the explosion. So, the root cause was hidden underground for 4 years, a crack almost 2 meters long that was probably put there by an excavator bucket. It was just sitting there, a ticking time bomb waiting for the perfect moment to go off. Then, in what has to be one of the most fatal errors imaginable, operators in the control room noticed the pressure drop in the pipeline just a few hours before the disaster. Instead of thinking, hey, maybe there's a leak, they just assumed it was a faulty instrument. So what did they do? They cranked up the gas flow to restore the pressure. They were literally pumping tons and tons of fuel into that valley. And as if that wasn't bad enough, there were final warnings from people right there on the ground. Other train crews passing through the area were radioing in, reporting this incredibly strong smell of gas. These were the last alarms, the last chances to stop those trains, but they were all dismissed. And so, at the 1,710th kilometer mark of the railway, the two unsuspecting trains met. They arrived at the absolute worst possible place at the exact worst possible time. Just try to imagine it. It's a quiet, maybe misty night in a valley in the Ural Mountains, but the very air itself had become fuel. That heavy gas, it's denser than air, so it just settled down in that hollow, creating this invisible explosive lake. This right here, it's just chilling. These were the last words ever heard from the locomotive. Just a calm, professional report of a dangerous situation. A moment later, the radio just went silent forever. All it took was a single spark. Maybe from the wheels on the track, maybe from the overhead electrical lines, and it ignited the entire cloud of gas at once. It's called a volumetric explosion. The air itself detonated. The force was just immense. I mean, estimated to be around 300 tons of TNT. The blast created a firestorm that just consumed everything for 250 hectares. The column of fire shot hundreds of meters into the sky, and the temperature at the center instantly jumped to over 1,000 degrees Celsius. The sheer force of the blast is staggering. We're talking about 11 heavy railway cars being tossed from the rails like they were toys. 7 of them were just completely incinerated, the steel twisted into shapes you wouldn't even recognize. And the landscape? It was transformed in a split second. An entire forest was just flattened and burned, leaving nothing but these blackened spikes where huge trees used to stand. And out of that inferno, a massive, desperate rescue operation began as the true scale of the horror became clear in the first light of dawn. You know, the very first responders were the survivors themselves and residents from villages nearby. In total darkness, surrounded by fire, they were pulling victims from the burning wreckage, just performing acts of incredible, unbelievable bravery. The scale of the human suffering here is just staggering. The official death toll was 575 people, though some sources say it was even higher, closer to 645. 181 of them were children, and over 600 people were left with horrific burns and injuries that would last a lifetime. This was a true national tragedy.
But, in the face of that apocalypse, an incredible story of human resilience and solidarity just emerged. The entire region mobilized. Helicopters were airlifting the wounded while ordinary citizens from nearby towns rushed to help, lining up to donate blood and care for the survivors. That site of unimaginable horror, it's been transformed. You go from a landscape of just twisted steel and ash to a place of quiet remembrance. It's a testament to every single person who was lost there.
And that memorial right there at Kilometer 1710 ensures this tragedy is never forgotten. Every single year, a special train of memory brings families and survivors back to this exact spot to pay their respects and keep the memory of their loved ones alive.
The Ufa disaster really serves as this chilling reminder, doesn't it? It shows how a chain of seemingly small errors, a culture of negligence, and just a few ignored warnings can lead to a catastrophe of a truly monumental scale. It really asks us to remember not only the victims, but the responsibility we all have to prevent these horrors from ever happening again.